Right, I'm going to have a go at this here blogging lark. Um, it does sound relatively easy if you possess the confidence, and I'm not sure whether I have or not. But here we go. I am quite old. Um, I own two motorcycles, a Supermoto KTM 690 and a 23-year-old Honda CBR 600, which I absolutely adore. It's in need of several things like new timing chain, and the carburetors apparently need bolted back on because they're starting to fall off. But it goes, it stops. It's just had two new tyres on it, and I've only been out on it once since I got the new tyres, and it's fitted with a very loud exhaust pipe, fuel exhaust can, and when encountering lots of slow moving traffic, filtering is a doddle, because they hear me coming up behind them for several hundred yards ahead of me, and fortunately 99% of them get out my fucking way. But the majority of my riding around is on the KTM, and around Whitehaven, which is where I live, there isn't all that many entertaining roads to ride upon, because the highways department seem to think that potholes only need fixed when the speed bumps start wearing out, and they intend, or they do tend to impose ridiculous speed limits on various highways, where up until recently the 595 through the county, it runs all the way from the north of the county to the south of the county, but where it comes through my borough, they have decided to impose a 40 mile an hour speed limit along the majority of it, and what was 60 miles per hour is now 50 miles per hour. And why they had to do this, I haven't the faintest idea, because throughout the day the average speed is sort of 15-20 miles per hour, and I don't tend to go out on the bikes in the dark because, like I said, I'm old and my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be, and I simply cannot see a bloody thing. Not so bad on the Honda because it's got decent lights, but the KTM, I came back from my mother's. She lives up at Wigton now, and a few weeks ago I decided I'd pop up and visit her, and on the way home the unlit side roads, anything above 30 miles an hour, and I was going to die because I simply couldn't see a thing. But back to the 595. The video camera I use was a Christmas present, and it insists on picking up wind noise and vibration and sod all in the way of voice. So I'm having to do the voice into my phone, and when I finally master video editing with Sony Vegas, I shall attempt to upload a blog of sorts, hence the reason for my present mutterings. The KTM, by the way, for zipping about the county, it's okay, but whenever I get into the town and going around in the town centre, it does tend to run rather hot. And lower than sort of 3000 RPM, it's really rough and lumpy and very difficult to ride at kind of slow speeds. Further to my motorcycling pleasure, I also have my daughter, who's decided that she loves being pillion passenger, and I want to go off and blast around, and well, I don't really care if I fall off, but the last few weeks I've had to kind of moderate my riding style slightly, because I don't wish to put my daughter off motorcycling by dumping her unceremoniously on the tarmac, which is quite frequent occurrence, because having said that, it's not that frequent, because just after I passed my test, every time I went out I invariably fell off, but fortunately it was only ever at less than walking speed, and the weather hasn't been exactly marvellous motorcycling weather. It's either too cold, too wet, or both cold, wet, and being on the coast, we tend not to get too many extremes of weather. The occasional severe frosts that we get are usually cleared by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning, which is handy, because by 11 o'clock I've usually finished transporting my girlfriend around, who does parcel delivery, and after 11 o'clock I'll come home, put my gear on, hop aboard the motorcycle, and think of somewhere that I haven't been for a very long time, and I go there and visit it. I used to be a taxi driver, and as such you'd think I would know the area very well, but 20 odd years of munching mass amounts of painkillers caused by various blind muppets in cars crashing into me, and it's knackered my spine, and as I say, I'm getting on in years, so arthritis is catching me up a bit, and the days of wandering around in a t-shirt are long gone. I used to do that regardless of the weather. T-shirt, jeans, and stroll around the town centre, winding up the place, because every time I say it, I'm at me and several friends who were with me were used to suddenly decided now's a good time to run for a bus, knowing full well that the police would see us start to break into a run and want to know why we broke into a run, and would stop us, search us, ask us all sorts of stupid questions like where we were running to, and weren't too pleased about the answers. I'm going for my bus and you've made me miss it, etc. I never used to catch buses, but they didn't know that. It's, yeah, my first attempt at a blog. I hope that it gets at least a few views if I ever manage to work out how to do video editing. But thank you for watching, and I shall try and get them up fairly frequently.